Of course, you can call the KARE 11 Gulf line at 542-1111. At least one local restaurant owner believes that he is losing most of his business because of the war. KARE 11's Melissa Young tells us that he hopes to wait it out, but he can't afford to wait forever.
For the past 3 years, business has been booming at Netanya's, but times have changed.
Since the 15, Star War, and we have every day we can feel it. It's slow to go down, and they just walk by and they see Middle East restaurant and just they leave. They open the door and they change their mind.
Bahajat Maswade believes people are avoiding his restaurant because it serves food from the Middle East. The Saturday lunch crowd is slow, but Saturday nights are usually packed. Tonight, there are just 3 customers, hardly enough to keep a business going for long.
Oh, wow. Thank you, that looks good. Thank you.
What customers there are say they're also surprised to find the place so empty.
The food's real good and it's a nice place. You'd expect it to be more crowded.
It seems strange. It's disturbing. I found it disturbing, actually. I don't want people to be discriminated against.
Bahajat and his wife do almost everything themselves. They've had to let some staff go because of the slowdown, but they hope it's only temporary.
We're waiting and patient and see how it goes, and hopefully people can understand we have nothing to do with war in the Middle East. We're here restaurant to feed people here to come and eat, and we do the best we can.
Bahajat is proud of his own Palestinian heritage, but says the issue here isn't politics. It's about food and someone trying to run a business. Melissa Young, KARE 11 News, Minneapolis.
Now, some other Middle East restaurants that we spoke to today say that their business is also down somewhat, but they blame the economy more than the war on that. And racism is apparently on the rise on campuses across the state of Minnesota.
And today, the presidents of several colleges took steps to stop it. As KARE 11's Mary Stuckey reports, they are taking a public stand against racism in the halls of higher learning.
Consider these incidents. A poster goes up. The message, kill all Arabs. A Hispanic student is assaulted in his dormitory and hospitalized. Racial slurs appear on the dorm doors of black students, and a minority faculty member is not invited to department meetings.
All said to be incidents of bigotry at Minnesota colleges and universities.
If others behave in an unacceptable way, it's our duty to point that out and to say that it is not tolerated on our campus.
Today, college presidents from throughout Minnesota signed a so-called Minnesota Manifesto Against Racism. It's a message from the top.
You simply have to mobilize the university community. And I've seen some of that happening, unfortunately, as a result of some harassment activities, but it is happening. I hope that this statement can continue to mobilize the university community.
Some in Minnesota colleges talk about what's commonly called Minnesota nice, an inability to admit and confront prejudice. But one college president says he fired an instructor after reports of his racial slurs.
But in individual cases, we get pretty clear rather quickly.
Finally, the manifesto signers say the classroom should be a place not just of tolerance, but of genuine understanding. Mary Stuckey, KARE 11 News.
And a more diverse student body and faculty is also a goal for Minnesota colleges and universities.
About 24 people picketed at Twin Cities Hospice this morning.
In his hands.
Pro-Life Action Ministries is protesting efforts by a Missouri man to bring his daughter to Minnesota. Pete Busalaki is trying to bring his daughter Christine here to be evaluated by doctors, and then if he decides, he's going to remove her feeding tube. Christine has been in a coma since 1987 when she had a car accident. Minneapolis police have one man in custody tonight in connection with the stabbing of a cab driver. Investigators say the driver, 36-year-old Richard Bradshaw, picked up a man at about 6:30 this morning and took him to an alley behind 28th and Blaisdell. The passenger pulled a knife and stabbed Bradshaw in the chest and then fled on foot. Bradshaw remains in serious condition right now at the Hennepin County Medical Center. The FBI is investigating a robbery in Minneapolis this afternoon. A man walked into the TCF Bank on East Lake at around noon today and demanded money. Never showed a weapon, but he said he had a gun. He made off with an undisclosed amount of cash.
Honeywell's Defense Division is facing a strike at midnight tonight. Almost 1,300 people who work at the Twin Cities Arsenal are set to walk out over a contract dispute. Members of Teamsters 1145 voted against accepting the company's latest contract offer today. The two sides have been negotiating since December. Cockpit recordings from the Detroit collision of two Northwest jets reveal that one of the pilots became confused in heavy fog seconds before his plane was struck by the other. 8 people were killed in the accident. Last night, we incorrectly said the flight crew was among the 8 people killed. Only one member of the crew, a flight attendant, died. The National Transportation Safety Board has scheduled a March 18th hearing on the collision.
Twin Cities homeless have a new $7.8 million service center in downtown Minneapolis tonight. Today was the official unveiling of the Minneapolis Harbor Light Center of the Salvation Army. The building offers emergency housing for the homeless, including special units for people with chemical dependency and medical problems.
They will fill lives with renewed hope. They will refill lives with dignity. They will provide a new start, motivation, if you will, guidance, if you will, to the confused.
The international leader of the Salvation Army attended the festivities. The cost of the building was raised from private sources.
Ever since North Dakota became a state 101 years ago, laws have kept retail stores closed on Sundays. But that is going to change tomorrow. North Dakota's governor signed legislation last week allowing stores to open after noon. Well, Minnesota border towns are considering how to meet the new Sunday competition, since Sunday shopping accounts for a hefty portion of those retailers' business.
$4 million is up for grabs in tonight's Lotto Minnesota drawing. The winning numbers were drawn just a few minutes ago, and here they are: 2, 17, 22, 30, 34, 53, and the daily 3 numbers are 8, 2, and 9.
Ellen Farrar says things should be getting back to normal in the forecast, but you might have forgotten what that is. We'll have more in a moment.
Later in sports, the Timberwolves mascot tries for his own win.
In the extra, a soldier's message from the front.
And before we go, sending a message to Saddam Hussein.
So just pack up your bags before you get thrashed, you suckers just not ready. MC all over who know me know that I'm the rap that daddy. A definite definition of me is MCBAD.
Can I help you folks? Hi, got any microwaves, Bob?
Yes.
Great, let's go, kids.
Thanks, Bob.
Let's go. Just cooking at Tony's microwave pizza, Bob. Couldn't wait to get home. You work on commission here, don't you, Bob?
Tony's, the pizza you can't wait to eat.
Bob, you make a better door than you do.
Well, after all, it's still a car. It's not like it had 6 wheels or nuclear power or something. But what it is the first car made in this country, from scratch. The way it's made. The way people care about how it's made. It's all new. We're proud of this car. It shows what you can do when you're willing to start all over again.
In Datelines tonight, voter turnout was heavy in Lithuania for today's non-binding referendum seeking independence from the Soviet Union. The nationalist government says more than 90% of the people who were casting ballots voted in favor of independence. Turnout is estimated at 85%. Now, the vote was held in defiance of Soviet President Gorbachev, who called it illegal. Experts are checking the ruins of a movie theater in Pakistan that was destroyed by a bomb this week. Someone telephoned the building 15 minutes before the bomb went off, so people had time to evacuate. Security forces speculate that pro-Iraqi militants may have planted that bomb. And in Britain today, snow and temperatures continue to fall, disrupting road, rail, and air travel. Some villagers in central Wales were totally cut off by the winter storm. Almost half the flights at London's Heathrow Airport were canceled because of the weather. The rest were delayed. They have our weather.
Yeah, I think they got the weather we were supposed to get last week.
Yeah, probably.
They just skipped over and went straight there.
We had that fog, remember?
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you, most of the country has been above normal, as you probably know if you've been following our weathercasts. But places like Britain and Alaska, the lower 48 has been warm, but Alaska's really where the cold air is socked in. Nome has had a temperature average of 14 below zero the past 2 weeks.
Today was basically the end of it for us, though, right?
Well, we're not talking about any big Arctic blasts coming in, but we're talking about temperatures getting back to normal. I think we've been spoiled long enough, as you'll see from my week in review. It's just quite remarkable what we did temperature-wise the past 7 days. Here's today's almanac data, and we were only 2 degrees shy of the record high today when we climbed to 44. Low this morning was 27, and currently we have 34 degrees with clear skies. Northwest winds at 14 miles an hour, making it feel like 15. And we have humidity at 59% and pressures rising. Well, here's a look back at the past 7 days and what we experienced temperature-wise. And normally, the average high should average out to about 23 degrees with an average low of 5 through the period. But in actuality, this is what happened with an average high of 46, an average low of 26. We're about 2 months ahead of ourselves with these temperatures more typical of late March and early April. We also set 4 records, including 2 record highs on the 2nd and the 8th. 2 record high minimum temperatures, the warmest minimum temperatures ever recorded for the 3rd and the 4th of the month. But readings will finally get back to reality of early February. We're already seeing evidence of that to the north with teens to report from International Falls to War Road. 28 right now in Alexandria, 31 from St. Cloud to Redwood Falls, and 42 degrees in Rapid City. Now, as we take a look at the satellite picture, what we're going to be finding is something rather unusual, and that is that we're going to be shifting air masses without any change in sky cover. Usually we see clouds and maybe even some flurries along the leading edge of this cooler air mass, but as you can see, skies remain mostly clear, and that will continue to be the trend not only for tonight, but through the next 3 days. Still no big storms on the weather maps. In fact, most of the country rather quiet, with the clouds mainly gathered across the Ohio Valley, central and lower Mississippi valleys. You can take a look at radar right now and see just a few light rain showers across the central and southern plain states, and that's it as far as any precipitation from coast to coast. The reason why is that high pressure is mainly in control. There's another one building down out of Canada, and that's the one that we're going to own. And with it, we are going to continue to find fair skies, but here's the leading edge of that secondary shot of cold air. We saw the one front move through, and that's why we didn't see 50s today, but rather 40s. And this front, after it moves through, along with a brisk northwest wind, will drop air temperatures into the 20s, but those winds will make it feel like in the single numbers. I'll have a look at the complete forecast details next.
You already know new Accent controls woolly cupgrass. You've probably read it even stops the roots. And no doubt you've heard Accent controls your toughest grasses. You know all the things Accent eliminates today. But we thought you'd like to know all the things it saves for tomorrow. The Accent is on tomorrow.
Menards is featuring big savings in our floor coverings department. Tarkett Style Glow No Wax Vinyl Floor Tile is just 79 cents per tile. Sandran No Wax Vinyl Flooring is just $2.99 a square yard. And clean up with a Eureka vacuum at a great price. Like the Hot Shot with carpet height adjustment for deep cleaning power, now just $79.88. Check out all the values this week at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Today's high temperature map features a couple of records into the mid-Atlantic states. Near Charleston, South Carolina, they climbed to about 70 degrees today. But here is the leading edge of that Arctic air mass just north of the border. And on strong northwest winds, that colder air will continue to filter into Minnesota from north to south. As the day progresses tomorrow, we're looking at teens tonight and 20s basically for highs for the next 4 days. Here's our forecast details. Then overnight tonight, mainly clear, breezy, and colder with low temperatures in the mid to upper teens. And then tomorrow, we should climb into the upper 20s close to 30. We could be about 5 to 10 degrees colder than that if we didn't lose all of our snow cover that we had this time last weekend. Plenty of sunshine and those brisk northwest winds again. And then a high on Monday of about 20 after a start of 4 degrees. And you can see getting closer to the normal high of 24 by Wednesday.
Back to normal.
So much for your standing ovations. They're gone. They're history.
It was nice to look back, though, and remember.
It'd be appreciated, yes. Thank you, Ellen. Instead of the normal winter routine for the kids making the parents climb the walls, it was the kids doing the climbing in Minneapolis today. They were getting a few tips from the Minneapolis SWAT team on rappelling. Whoa, I wouldn't try that. It was part of the public safety days at the Minneapolis Convention Center. People also had a chance to take part in demonstrations with Hennepin County Sheriff's divers and several state and federal agencies.
Ooh. I hope those kids wanted to do that. Don't you?
Mommy!
Yes. A quick note here. That Teamster strike that we referred to in an earlier story is against a former Honeywell division, now called Alliant Tech Systems. A message from the front and a sister's tribute coming up in the Extra.
And don't forget the Gulf Line is open weekends from 5 until 11. The number is 542-1111.
For all your new commitments, new concerns, and new hopes, KARE 11 News is there.
More from the Persian Gulf in 1 hour.
Every hour, on the hour, 24 hours a day,
That's highly successful.
keeping you informed.
Those of you who have someone overseas. And we'll
And
have
when
more
has
from the
that
Persian Gulf
mattered
in
more?
Minnesota's 24-hour news and weather channel.
Wix Furniture is giving away love seats. Choose from these 3 sofas: beautiful contemporary, the stylish look of casual, or transitional. Your choice, just $699.98, and the love seat is free. Or select this queen-size sofa sleeper, and the love seat is free. Plus, put no money down and no payments or finance charges due till June. 120 days, same as cash, with a Wix charge.
Better than ever, Wix Furniture.
It takes a lot to shock him in Hollywood, and this is the murder that shocked them all. Now Entertainment Tonight gets the inside story on one of Hollywood's most gruesome crimes, the puzzling death of the woman they call the Black Dahlia. How has her killer eluded police for more than 4 decades? Why are detectives still on the case? We'll talk to eyewitnesses who remember, and 2 researchers who believe they've solved the case that won't die, the Black Dahlia murder. Get the inside story on Entertainment Tonight.
Monday at 6:30 on KARE 11.
In tonight's Extra, a woman's poem for her brother in Saudi Arabia and every other U.S. soldier stationed in the Gulf.
Sue Basinger wrote the poem after thinking about her brother Timothy Corcoran with the Army's 317th Engineer Group. And tonight, she shares her poem with us from her mother's home in St. Paul.
You won't be alone. I can't think of anyone who wanted this war, especially the families that are feeling torn. We've sent our men and women to fight, and we here at home sit holding each other tight.
How y'all doing? Well, we're out in Saudi Arabia, as you know, in the middle of the desert.
This is not a war where we'll let you stand alone.
It's windy, it's dusty.
We'll raise our voices with yours in a thunderous tone. We'll stand by your side with our hand in yours, in hopes it will help keep the spirit that soars.
We're having, making the best of it, having a good time as much as possible.
Here's to our men, sons and brothers are all. Here's to our women, daughters and sisters, one and all. Not to forget husbands, lovers, and wives.
Hopefully we'll be coming home real soon. Be able to spend time again, get to know the kids again.
And most of all, our friends we've known all our lives. From all of us to all of you, we send our love, hugs, and kisses too. Written by Sue Basinger, January 26, 1991. Dedicated to my brother, who's over in Saudi Arabia, Sergeant Timothy P. Corcoran. I want him to come home so I can see him. We're thinking of him all the time.
I love you all. See you later. Bye.
Tim Corcoran sent his video message to his wife last month before war broke out.
His job is to fix Army vehicles in the war effort. Tim also has 3 kids back home.
There's a time for love, a time for peace, and a time to show you care.
KARE 11 invites you to share our pride in the USA. Just send us a self-addressed stamped envelope and we'll send you one of these flags free. Together we'll show we care.
Isn't it nice to know that every day
Hi.
there's a time when people come together
Hello, everybody. Coming up later.
for great conversation,
I'll tell you mine if you tell me
new
yours.
ideas,
How does the figure because it's got this points? I know.
and a special feeling.
Hello, Chief.
It's always best
Hey, Court.
between friends.
Oh, how are you today?
Dawson, Corbin, and you. Weekdays at 11 on KARE 11.
If you thought you had your hands full, how about these people? Members of the University of Minnesota Juggling Club sponsored what else but a juggling fest today. During the 7-hour clinic, they vied for juggling records and even tried to teach a few people how to handle more than a handful. They look pretty good.
It's tough. That's tough.
It looks like it.
Sorry for making a lot of noise here.
You're making a lot of noise over there.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, this fight just ended in Madison Square Garden. Sugar Ray Leonard. He lost tonight. I'll have more details on that in a second.
Okay.
We're going to start out talking about the Gopher hockey team. A very important weekend for them. They tied Northern Michigan last night. Tonight, the Gopher hockey team fell from the top of the WCHA. Northern Michigan jumped out to a 4-0 lead and beat the Gophers on their home ice. We checked the final. It was 6-4 in favor of Northern Michigan. The Wildcats lead the Gophers and the WCHA by 1 point. The Gophers will host North Dakota on Friday and Saturday. Better news for the Met. The North Stars beat Detroit tonight 6-5. Mike Modano, the goal there. Stars build a 6-2 lead in this game. Dave Gagne scores off the power play. Detroit rallied to pull within 1 goal, but the Stars win tonight 6-5 as we check the score. They're 8 points out of 3rd place in the Norris Division. They've won 4 of their last 5. Sugar Ray Leonard said tonight he's through with boxing, no more. Yes, I know, we've heard that before, but tonight the 5-time champion took a whipping from Terry Norris in New York. Norris won a unanimous decision over Leonard to retain his WBC super welterweight crown. Leonard was knocked down twice by Norris in the 2nd and 5th round. It was only his 2nd career loss, and apparently his last. Sugar Ray Leonard beaten tonight in New York. To basketball, and once again, Larry Heisel Jr. of Wisconsin stepped to the free throw stripe with the game on the line. Twice in his career, he's done this and missed the opportunities to win a game for the Badgers. Today, he got another chance, this time against Michigan State. Here he is at the line, 15 seconds to go, game tied. Missed the first one, Heisel missed the second one. First overtime, the game went into OT. Steve Smith for Michigan State inside the basket. He had 28 points, but we go to a double overtime. Patrick Tompkins inside off the air ball, 3-point play for Wisconsin. And yes, the hero, Larry Heisel Jr. In the double overtime, he hit 7 of 8 free throws, and the Wisconsin Badgers pull off the upset over Michigan State. 84-78 was the final. At Ohio State, the Buckeyes in white thrashed Northwestern today. Jimmy Jackson crosses the lane. He'll take the feed. Jackson had 23 points for Ohio State. Easy day for them. We check the final score. 96-74. Michigan beat Iowa tonight. Wisconsin in double OT. The Gophers, of course, host the Illini 3 o'clock tomorrow. Top 20, Duke by 20. Providence beat St. John's. Syracuse by a point. Virginia beaten by North Carolina. Number 10, East Tennessee State rolls. Southern Miss a winner. Nebraska over Colorado. Utah wins. UC Irvine leading in the first half. Kansas over Okie State. New Orleans upset today by Louisiana Tech and Georgetown in overtime. The NBA All-Star Game in Charlotte is set for tomorrow, but tonight the real show took place. The NBA slam dunk and three-point shooting contest. D. Brown of Boston, 6'1" rookie guard. Look at this slam dunk. He won the competition tonight. The no-look jam here against Seattle's Sean Kemp. D. Brown picked up $20,000 for his efforts tonight. Well, meanwhile, an unbelievable display of three-point shooting by Chicago's Craig Hodge. He hit 19 straight shots on his way to a semifinal win. 19 straight. He beat Portland's Terry Porter in the final. Hodges won $20,000 as well. He was the defending three-point champion. To golf, Mark O'Meara, the 4th-round leader at the Bob Hope Desert Classic, leads Tim Simpson by 1 shot. But the big story today, Bob Hope himself at the 18th hole, and I'll show you that in a minute. The leader at 23 under, Mark O'Meara, the birdie putt here. He leads Simpson by 1, Corey Pavin by 2, heading into the final round. Lower right, Lawrence Taylor chipping. Lawrence Taylor in the same group with Raymond Floyd and former President Jerry Ford. Taylor chips it in. And finally, Bob Hope himself, live national audience at the 18th hole, the shot of the day. Yes, Bob Hope puts it in. The final round of the Bob Hope Desert Classic can be seen tomorrow here on TV 11. Is that great or what? Well, a quick pro football note. Tampa linebacker Broderick Thomas was shot twice early this morning. Thomas is listed in guarded but stable condition. He was shot in the upper arm and chest during an argument outside a Tampa nightclub. To hockey now. Kennedy in white against Armstrong. Game's tied 3-3 in overtime. Short-handed Kennedy is, but Mark Peterson gets the goal with 2 seconds left. And Kennedy beats Armstrong at the Ice Gardens. We check the final in hockey 4-3. Other scores, Henry beats South. Richfield over Minnetonka. Forest Lake beat Roseville. Anoka 1-0. White Bear in overtime. Southwest over Washburn. Edina 2-1. Johnson beat Cretin. South St. Paul a winner. To the NHL, again the North Stars win tonight 6-5. Boston over Chicago. St. Louis leading Los Angeles in the third. Toronto beat the Islanders. Montreal over the Rangers. Quebec beat New Jersey. And Calgary over Hartford. Now the Gopher women's softball team is hosting a tournament at the Dome this weekend. This is action from the UMD Gopher game today, in which the Gophers won 3-2. Weekend tournament is the first ever competitive softball tournament played in the Dome, and the championship game is set for 5 o'clock tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Rolex National Indoor Intercollegiate Tennis Tournament has moved to the finals tomorrow. Nicole Arndt in the far court advanced with a 3-6, 6-4, 6-2 win over the #1 seed, Sandra Birch. The finals are set for tomorrow. The ladies' singles at 10 a.m., the men's singles at noon. Finally tonight, back to the NBA All-Star side in Charlotte. The first annual mascot slam dunk contest was held. Our own Crunch participated. Didn't win, but he didn't do too bad. But here's the winner, the Charlotte Hornet Super Hugo. Watch this dunk. No! Can you believe that? That's hard to beat, huh? The NBA All-Star game will be seen live here on TV 11 at 12:30, and Crunch kissing his feet at 12:30.
We haven't been practicing that, have we?
Man, isn't that something?
Oh.
How many points do you get for that, do you think?
Well, to me, on a scale of 10, that's at 12.
That's probably a 12.
That's creative. That's a power jam. That's got everything.
I agree with you, Rand.
Okay.
Kids, don't try that at home.
Thank you.
You bet.
The troops in Operation Desert Storm provide their own desert entertainment.
Sounds of Saudi Arabia in a moment.
Gotta blame it on something. Gotta blame it on something. Blame it on Hussein. That's why we're in Saudi. Blame it on
John and Lisa have been married now for 3 years.
All we ever do is watch TV. We never do what I want to do.
They love each other. They always have.
He's completely self-centered. He never talks to me.
They just haven't learned to live together.
There is no other woman. You just don't trust me.
This is all a big mistake.
Can this marriage be saved? Because We Care, we'll show you how problems in a marriage don't have to spell divorce. Wednesday at 10 on KARE 11 News.
All right, how many this time? 8 cavities. 14 cavities? I didn't think I had that many teeth. You're gonna have to drill? My parents will be very upset.
Parents today hope their kids won't have to go through what they went through. Luckily, today's kids use the toothpaste more dentists recommend, Crest. The first toothpaste clinically shown to give you protection down to the root of the tooth.
Another great checkup. Yes! Woo, woo, woo. Later, dude.
Crest, the dentist's choice, is the easy choice.
It's been fun.
And finally tonight, the troops in Saudi Arabia were singing in the sand. During an impromptu concert in the desert, soldiers took a talent break this week. They sang rap, country, and borrowed a tune from Milli Vanilli for their rendition of Blame It on Hussein. But despite all the fun, the songs had a serious note.
Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died to give that right to me. And I'd gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Weather.
Yes, if you are venturing out of doors tomorrow, you'll need a few extra accessories, gloves, hat, and a heavy coat. Air temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, but with wind chill temperatures, it'll feel like single numbers. Still plenty of sun. Randy?
Gopher hockey team lost tonight 6-4. Gopher basketball team, 3 o'clock game tomorrow against Illini at the Old Barn.
And that'll do it for us. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night.
As war rages in the Gulf, follow two young Minnesotans who've decided to do their part. A call to duty, Monday at 10 on KARE 11 News.
An inspired doctor invents a vaccine for a bad disease, and most kids get the shots, and the disease seems to disappear. Then folks forget about it. And then some folks forget to get the shots, and the disease seems to crop up again, and people wonder why. Your doctor can tell you the best way to ensure your kid doesn't get a disease is not to rely on other kids getting their shots. Make sure your kid gets his.
Meet the Rockmans, the world's foremost authorities on the Flintstones.
Where do the Flintstones live?
Bedrock. Who's Fred's boss?
Mr. Slate.
But they don't know everything about the Flintstones.
What's the Flintstones' favorite food?
Bronto burgers?
No, now it's new Flintstone Franks.
Flintstone Franks?
They're great-tasting new hot dogs.
Awesome.
Packed with Flintstone fun.
Yabba-dabba-doo!
How can you have more fun at mealtime? Get new Flintstone Franks.
Smashing all the records I can get. I'll show that Steve Cochran fella from KDWB. Adios, Madonna. And put some clothes on for Pete's sake. And what's with this MC Hammer? I'll hammer you. Oh, no. Lawrence Welk, my favorite.
You decide. Mornings with Steve Cochran on KDWB 101.3 FM.
Hey, Cheers is filmed before a live studio audience.